Hello and welcome, my dear friend. You're meant to be here, and I believe you're truly ready to uncover something that could shift your understanding of both money and life itself. If you've ever felt conflicted about your relationship with money, whether having it makes you feel guilty or not having enough causes anxiety, you're not alone. The Bible holds timeless truths that speak directly to these issues, offering guidance on how to view and handle financial resources from a spiritual perspective. Of course, money, like anything else, can be used as a tool for harm, but it can also be a powerful resource to provide for our families, those in need, or freeing our mind to focus more on our spiritual path. When used wisely, it becomes a way to reflect God's goodness and grace in our lives. In this video, we'll explore 7 powerful Bible verses that have the potential to transform your life and financial outlook. These verses reveal money as more than just currency. It becomes a tool for stewardship, reflection, and a way to live in peace and abundance under God's grace. Stay with me until the end, my friend, because each of these scriptures could change your life forever. The first principle that reshapes our relationship with money is simple but profound. God owns everything. This belief is rooted in 1 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 11, where it says, "Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor, for everything in heaven and earth is yours." Everything we see, touch, or hope to acquire belongs to God. He is the creator and owner of all things, and this realization can change the way we approach wealth. Understanding that God generously provides can shift our mindset from a scarcity-driven approach to one of trust and gratitude. When we begin to see ourselves as stewards of what God has entrusted to us, money no longer feels like something to cling to out of fear or uncertainty. Instead, it becomes an instrument for reflecting God's generosity and fulfilling His purposes. Money is not a reflection of our personal worth, nor should it dictate our security. Once we acknowledge God's ownership, every financial decision becomes a spiritual decision. We are called to use the resources we've been given wisely in ways that align with God's will. This truth helps us prioritize how we manage everything, from savings to spending, with purpose and intentionality. So remember, you are a steward of what belongs to God. This perspective brings a sense of freedom and peace, guiding us away from fear-based financial decisions. The second lesson focuses on contentment. In a world where we are constantly urged to desire more, contentment can feel elusive. However, contentment is not about settling for less. It's about having a heart that is aligned with God, no matter the circumstances. Philippians chapter 4, verses 12 to 13 teaches us, "I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength." This verse teaches us that contentment is not based on what we possess or lack. It's a condition of the heart, cultivated through our faith in God. Contentment is something that grows over time, not a state we can achieve overnight. As we strengthen our relationship with God, we learn to rely on His strength to be content in any situation. In today's society, it's easy to fall into the trap of always chasing the next thing, whether it's a raise, a new possession, or a higher financial goal. But contentment doesn't come from acquiring more. It comes from understanding that who we are becoming in God is more valuable than anything money can buy. By embracing contentment, we shift from a mindset of scarcity and dissatisfaction to one of gratitude and peace. God provides exactly what we need, and trusting in His provision brings us fulfillment that the world's material wealth cannot. The third key realization is this: Our behaviors around money reveal our inner desires and beliefs. How we handle money, whether we spend, save, or worry about it, exposes our true priorities and the condition of our heart. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 10 offers a sobering reminder. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This verse teaches us that the pursuit of wealth for its own sake is a never-ending cycle. The more we strive to accumulate, the more we find ourselves wanting. This dissatisfaction isn't a result of the amount of money we have, but rather the attachment we form to it. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that just a little more money will solve all our problems, but the truth is, financial wealth can never satisfy our deeper spiritual needs. When we examine our financial habits, we can see how often money becomes an emotional crutch, something we look to for comfort or security instead of turning to God. This recognition calls us to manage our money in a way that reflects our values and trust in God's provision. By detaching from the love of money, we align ourselves with a more purposeful and spiritually healthy approach to financial stewardship. The fourth realization is that money is spiritual. While money is a physical resource, how we interact with it is deeply connected to our spiritual lives. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 24, Jesus says, "No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money." This verse teaches us an important lesson about priorities. It doesn't imply that wealth is inherently wrong, but it warns us about the dangers of letting money become our master. When our primary focus is on accumulating wealth, we risk placing money above God. We are called to use money in a way that honors God, not as something that controls our lives or our decisions. When we put God first, money takes its rightful place as a tool, not something we worship or prioritize above our faith. Another essential shift comes when we realize that we are working with God, not just for money or for others. This transforms the way we see our daily work and efforts. Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." This verse teaches us that we are not laboring alone. Our work isn't just about earning money or gaining approval from others. It's a way to partner with God in fulfilling His purposes. When we work with God, we are no longer burdened by the need to prove our worth through success or wealth. Instead, we can rest in the knowledge that God is with us, guiding our efforts and giving us peace. Working with God changes our perspective on what it means to be successful. It's no longer about achieving worldly standards of wealth or accomplishment, but about contributing to something bigger, God's kingdom. This brings a sense of joy and purpose to our work that money alone can never provide. The next important lesson comes from Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7. "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." This verse teaches us about the dangers of debt. Debt can feel like a heavy burden, creating a sense of bondage and limiting our financial freedom. Living with the constant pressure of owing money can lead to stress and anxiety, pulling us away from the peace that God desires for us. Understanding the weight of debt encourages us to make wise financial decisions, prioritizing freedom and stewardship over accumulating more. By taking steps to eliminate debt, we can experience greater financial and spiritual freedom, allowing us to live more fully in the present and plan for the future with a clear mind and heart. Finally, we must remember, Our possessions do not define us. In today's materialistic culture, it's easy to fall into the trap of equating our worth with what we own. But Jesus teaches us a different perspective. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 to 21, Jesus says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This verse teaches us that true value isn't found in earthly possessions, but in the spiritual treasures we store up in heaven. The things we accumulate in this life, whether wealth, possessions, or status, are temporary. What truly matters is the condition of our hearts and our relationship with God. When we focus on building treasures in heaven, we free ourselves from the endless pursuit of material wealth. Our sense of worth comes from our identity in Christ, not from the things we own. This brings a sense of peace and fulfillment that the world's riches can never provide. As we reflect on these 7 powerful Bible verses, remember that God's guidance on money is not meant to limit us, but to free us. Whether it's through wise stewardship, contentment, or aligning our desires with God's will, these teachings offer a path to greater peace, abundance, and spiritual growth. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me, my friend. If you found this message helpful, please give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Continue your growth journey by watching one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.